I don't know how much of that, how well is that going to go down with many people, but definitely some action needs to be taken. If roads and traffic have rules, then why not the skies and the sky traffics for that matter? But Sarosh Damania, if I can get you in, now here's the point. The judge goes on to say something about strategic seating. What does that even mean? I mean, is there anything internationally where you have strategic seating? Because it's a simple question. If there's a drunk passenger coming in, drunk also, then you have to define how much is being drunk. I don't know whether even that exists in the current zone of people flying, whether this much is being drunk or not. I mean, I just leave that to you to explain to our passengers as well. But the point is, if there's somebody coming in an inebriated state or a drunk state and wants to sit next to him, what is strategic seating?
There's no such thing as creative. Now, Indigo has come up something with woman flyer sitting next to woman flyers, where woman flyer can select a seat next to woman flyer. That has come in recently, that has come across by Indigo. It's a very nice move to maybe for women safety aspect. But still, there is no guarantee a drunk passenger is not going to. If you see Bombay-Delhi flights, Bombay-Bangalore flights, they are absolutely full flights. So there is no place for the crew even to accommodate somebody else on a other seat. So there cannot be something called a strategy. And another thing is airlines are selling seats. So if somebody has purchased a seat, how will you throw him off his purchased seat and tell him to go and sit on some other seat also? So there are a lot of practicalities. Of course, it's a noble thought. But implementation, practicality, economic feasibility, aviation industry, how it accepts it, how people accept it is a completely different ball altogether. So DGCA has to come in. They have to do thorough research on it.
I mean, there's another side to it also, Sarosh Damania. Maybe you're a man who's drunk, and maybe strategic seating would mean what? Make him sit next to a man. But again, a man would have a choice of not wanting to sit against somebody drunk. He may have worked for X number of hours, or taken care of a toddler, or taken care of a sick family member, and must be flying to work. Whatever reasons of just nothing of that, and may want a very peaceful
cannot, of course,
travel.
discriminate between flyers. Now, if person, of course, they have to have stricter rules that you do not permit drunk people on the aircraft. That is, of course, that something can be done. So there should also be a limit again. You only can have 2 drinks and come on an aircraft or something. But problem is, how will you implement it? Tomorrow, implementation, practically, the turnaround time is such an important factor in the aviation industry. They are trying to board you fast. They don't have time to do checking for all the passengers or at least some of the passengers. So now something randomly somebody complains about somebody is a different thing.
No, this is an interesting part. Sanjay Lazar, if I can get you in, this is an interesting thing. Is it not possible to check on or limit the kind of intake that of alcohol a person consumes before boarding the flight? Doesn't it happen anywhere? Is this not something that is recommended? What is the scene? Why is it so unregulated if it is such a big nuisance anyway? And nuisance is a very light word to say. I mean, somebody urinating over you is not nuisance. I mean, okay, it's sub judice, fair enough. Somebody touching you inappropriately is not nuisance. It's beyond that.
Yes, it's criminal. It's not nuisance. It's criminal if somebody touches you or inappropriately or abuses you or vomits on you, even, has allegedly urinated. There are limits, Sneha, and I know for a fact that the national carrier has set in limits. There were limits of 2 and 3 drinks some years ago. I think after all these incidents, it's now gone to a traffic light system where it's just 1 drink, and perhaps they judge if you're fit enough to have a second drink, and they don't. I also know that international carriers also restrict. I don't. I know I will probably earn the ire of many when I say this, but I see on specific sectors out of India, we get a lot of Indian passengers who like to drink a lot of alcohol on certain sectors only. And it's not, universal. They love to drink. Our Indians love to drink everywhere, of course. But I see that, on the short Southeast Asia, some Middle East sectors where you don't get alcohol, those sectors, people like to drink a lot more. I don't see too much of drinking on long-haul flights. And now with this restriction, I know a couple of airlines have already put in place restrictions where they monitor and police literally the passengers' consumption pretty strictly. I've not heard of major cases in the last two years, at least since this alleged incident. So I think things are, balancing out here. But, I look at also the other end of the spectrum. There are people who can retain alcohol and by drinking. What happens to them? they're flying an
Right,
Emirates.
Mr. Sanjay as well, Mr. Sanjay Lazar as well as Sarosh Damania. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm sorry I'm cutting this short.